My God, I hate drugs.
President Duterte makes it clear the radical changes he warned about earlier in the week will not involve martial law. Our senior correspondent Ina Andulong tells us these radical changes will affect some agencies in government.
Somehow, even with this meager emergency power, I will use it to the hilt at put things in order. Nawarning ko lang kayong mga kriminal, lahat na. Nasa gobyerno, sa labas, I will make radical changes in the days to come.
That was the president days ago when he arrived from Korea. And as he warned of radical changes in efforts to fight crime, he mentioned martial law.
There's no difference actually between martial law and a declaration of national emergency. So I've been warning all, lahat. I'm warning all, including the human rights. It's either we behave or we will have a serious problem again. Mahirap yan.
These led to speculations the president may be thinking about using either martial law or his state of national emergency declaration to combat crime. He declared a state of national emergency in September 2016 in response to the Davao City night market bombing, and it's still in effect. He clarifies this now: no martial law and no plan to use the state of national emergency declaration to boost his anti-crime efforts.
Martial law is not feasible. It won't work. It won't work. First of all, it's going to be a divided nation. Might think of something else, martial law.
While he says martial law is effective in Mindanao, President Duterte said it won't work on a larger scale because of negative experiences people remember it for, specifically abuses back then. In boosting his anti-crime efforts, he says he prefers to just do it with the help of the police and local officials who he admits need to be fixed too. So what radical changes did the president mean? He said soon he will be placing agencies prone to corruption directly under his office. What are these offices? He won't say just yet.
Kung sabihin ko ngayon, masaktan yung sekretary na matatamaan. We have a cabinet meeting coming up. I will also have my command conference. And that would be the time that I would be ready to declare anything. Out of respeto sa kanila.
No emergency measures will be used, but the tough-talking president made it clear criminals will have it coming. Ina Andulong, CNN Philippines, Cebu.
National Police Chief Oscar Albayalde says all the arrested Filipino employees of a call center allegedly involved in cybercrime have been released, but they are still subjects for investigation. The 8 Israeli operators are still detained and were charged with syndicated estafa with no bail recommended. Yesterday, over 470 employees were arrested in Clark Special Economic Zone. They worked for a company posing as a BPO, and their modus: entice investors in fake stock or to entice investors for fake stocks or Bitcoin, a digital currency. Authorities say daily transactions reach around $1 million.
Lahat ng Israelis were all detained with no bail, and all others, lahat ng mga Pilipinos, yung mga employees, were all released for further investigation.
Some concerned employees informed a number of victims about the illegal activity, and the victims in turn traveled to the country all the way from Australia and South Africa to file complaints with the police. On to stories from the regions. An interagency task force is recommending the filing of criminal charges against 30 persons allegedly responsible for a fire that destroyed a shopping mall in Davao City last December. The charges are against officials and personnel of the NCCC Mall, the employer of the 37 out of the 38 victims of the fire, and a construction firm that was renovating the building at the time of the blaze. Administrative charges are recommended against officials of Bureau of Fire Protection and 2 other government agencies. A Justice Department panel is reviewing the recommendation. The rehabilitation of Boracay seems to be bringing the island back to the days before local and foreign tourists discovered its white sand beaches, that is, to the time when there was still no electricity. The power distributor on Boracay Island, Aklan Electric Cooperative, has announced to its consumers that there will be a series of power outages during the island's rehabilitation. Electric posts are getting relocated in areas affected by the ongoing project to widen Boracay's main road. In fact, some areas already experienced 6 to 7 hour blackouts in the last 2 days. More than half of the almost 900 poles of the power firm will be transferred to nearby locations. Other utilities like telephone and cable television will also be affected by the relocation of electric posts. In Cebu, President Duterte led the inauguration of the country's first resort-themed airport terminal. Here's what Mr. Duterte has to say about the 17 billion peso Terminal 2 of the Mactan Cebu International Airport.
It's the most beautiful airport in the country today. And I am extra proud to be a citizen of this country and most proud to be a worker of government which has produced something very beautiful and good for the people.
One of the prominent features of the new terminal are wooden arches that are part of the facility's roof. It forms the facade that resembles waves of the sea. The arches are made of imported white alpine spruce trees from Austria. Imported logs are fireproof. The floors of the terminal are made of marble with patches of glittering mother of pearl. It also has a resort ambiance lighting and has 72 rattan-designed check-in counters. There are 12 boarding bridges in the new terminal. The facility was built via a public-private partnership deal with the GMR Megawide Cebu Airport Corporation Consortium in 2015. Full operations begin on July 1st for international flights, while the old Terminal 1 will be used for domestic flights. The world rankings of the Philippines' top universities are down. How is the internet reacting? Your rain gear always at hand because it's officially the start of the rainy season. The Weather Bureau, Pag-asa, cites widespread rainfall recorded in most of its stations. Rains are brought about by the southwest monsoon. While Metro Manila will have widespread rains and thunderstorms in the coming days, Pag-asa says this will be followed by dry periods or monsoon breaks for up to 2 weeks. What triggered the southwest monsoon is Doming, which intensified into a tropical storm this morning. The storm continues to move northeast toward Japan and is forecast to exit the country this weekend. Pag-asa says Doming continues to enhance the southwest monsoon. So this weekend, expect moderate to occasional heavy rains that could trigger flooding and landslides in Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, the Bicol region, Western Visayas, and the provinces of Aurora, Bataan, and Zambales. The rest of Luzon and the Visayas will have cloudy skies with light to moderate rains and isolated thunderstorms. Mindanao will see isolated downpours because of localized thunderstorms. Well, here are today's global headlines. Heads up, Facebook users with posts may have been compromised. From May 18 to 22, about 14 million users of the social media site had their default sharing setting for all new posts set to public during that period. The bug occurred while Facebook was testing a new feature. The company's employees have already set all affected posts to private, but these include those that people may have meant to share publicly. Affected Facebook users will see a message urging them to review their posts and a link to a list of what they shared on Facebook while the bug was active. U.S. President Donald Trump plans to leave this weekend's Group of 7 summit in Canada early after an explosion of animosity between Mr. Trump and his foreign counterparts. Mr. Trump attacked French President Emmanuel Macron and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Twitter. He was reacting to Mr. Macron's assertion that the G7 nations would band together without the U.S. President Trump tweeted, quote, "Please tell Prime Minister Trudeau and President Macron that they are charging the U.S. massive tariffs and creating non-monetary barriers. The EU trade surplus with the U.S. is $151 billion, and Canada keeps our farmers and others out. Look forward to seeing them," unquote. Later, Mr. Trump followed up with a tweet aimed at Mr. Trudeau, referring to the Canadian Prime Minister as indignant. President imposed tariffs last week on Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. This drew a very sharp backlash from U.S. allies, most of whom have threatened to retaliate.